Alright, here we are for round 1, game 1. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the play. This type of deck, you know, that we're just trying to punch in some damage and then kill them with Overrun. This hand seems a little bit awkward because we don't have the white mana for the Gideon's Lawkeeper or the Stave Off, but these guys are still fine in the late game, and, you know, we're building towards something, so we'll keep it. I'm going to pause while we wait for my opponent here. Alright, after a good 7 or 8 minutes, my opponent's finally returned, so let's go ahead here. Lead with Forest. I'm going to try and get as many forests in play before I peel a Dungrove Elder. Hopefully we'll just draw planes right off the top here and just get going, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It may be true that this was not a good keep. I mean, I guess we couldn't really cast 2 of the cards in our hand, and I mean, we didn't know we were going to draw the Griffin, but we'll see what happens. I'm probably just going to Arachnus Web the Merfolk Looter. Can't let him get too far ahead right here. Kind of sucks that you have to burn one on a looter, but, you know, stopping them from looting is actually pretty relevant, and if somehow he knocks it off, we can get it back with the Auramancer, so I'm fine with playing it a little bit earlier than usual. Here we got a Plains, which is pretty good. He doesn't have the... well, yeah, I'm just going to play the Lawkeeper. I mean, can't play the Griffin, so... I'd like to, you know, wait until we can keep the Stave Off open for the Lawkeeper, but with only 6 Plains in this deck, you can't bank on getting too many of them. Here he's going to play the Mage, beat, and probably give it lifelink. Hopefully after we play this Stampeding Rhino, you know, we just have his board position trumped. I'm not going to attack the Lawkeeper here. I'd rather keep him around to stop some of his inevitable flyers or whatever. If he attacks, I think I probably won't block. I mean, he could have Mighty Leap, especially, you know, on the Armored Warhorse. The Warhorse would survive if he had the Mighty Leap. I guess if he attacks with both, I mean, I could block the Alabaster Mage. That way, even if he has Turned Frog, he still loses the Mage. If he has Mighty Leap, he still loses the Mage. I mean, he'd have to have some kind of combination of those cards, or those cards and Stave Off, I guess. Chasm Drake is not that big of a problem. We can tap it down with the Lawkeeper, or just block it with the Griffin. I think if we attack with the Rhino, he can double block with Armored Warhorse and Chasm Drake, but I'm fine with just taking that trade. Yeah, we'll just trade it for the Chasm Drake here. Could have saved it with Stave Off, I guess, but I mean, playing this Peregrine Griffin's gonna hold off his attacks anyway. Let's see what he does on his turn. I'd like to hold on to this pacifism to stop something absurd if possible. I think we're in a pretty decent position here. Again, if he attacks in, I don't know if I'll block, just because if he does have the trick, it's so bad. What is this? Griffin that doesn't really get in. That's fine. I think we'd be in a much worse situation if we hadn't Arachnus Webbed the Merfolk Leader, so I'm pretty glad I did. I suppose if we ever become desperate enough, if he plays something that we absolutely can't deal with that can be Arachnus Web, we could always stave off the looter, knock the web off if we get like an Auramancer and get the Arachnus Web back and put it on someone else, but let's just hope we don't have to do that. Opponent's taking a while here, so I'm just going to pause. Alright, so after a bit of deliberation, my opponent decides to go ahead and suit up his Alabaster Mage with Divine Favor, which we're okay with. I mean, yeah, I guess he could have bashed with 2 guys there, but doesn't really want to. There's the Auramancer we were talking about. I think we'll just hold back here, not much to do. We can put this down, let's see. Alright, well, I'm just going to go ahead and tap that guy in response. I guess we have a pacifism for that guy if we need to. He can attack here, yeah. I'm just going to block the Alabaster Mage because rather than only hit us for 2 and gain 2, then I mean, obviously he's going to gain life off of the block 2, but let's see. If we put Pacifism on this guy, I mean, since he's got protection from creatures, and then start tapping down the Alabaster Mage, I think we'll be able to hold off for a while. Sucks that he's just going to be gaining a bunch of life here, but... Bell Tower Sphinx. Alright, well... I think we're not going to tap anyone down here, because he can't give any lifelink, so he can hit us for 2, but at end of turn, what I think I'm going to do is just cast Stave Off on the Griffin Sentinel to knock off both things, get the Pacifism back, and then put the Pacifism on the Bell Tower Sphinx, because it's going to be more of a problem. Alright. So yeah, let's get the Pacifism back here. Put the Pacifism on the Bell Tower Sphinx. Now we just really need to deal with that, or the Alabaster Mage, although I guess he can't really attack with it into our double blocks here unless he has a... Oh, there's Jace. That's going to be pretty hard to deal with, especially since we're basically dead in 2 more turns. Didn't mill Overrun, which might be the best way to deal with Jace, but let's play a land here. I suppose we could tap. Yeah, I think we're going to have to tap the Griffin Rider here, attack Jace with the Peregrine Griffin. This way, if he zeroes next turn, we're not technically dead, and, you know, if he doesn't have another blocker, then we're going to get in, but being on a 4-turn clock after that is... Yeah, actually, I mean, being on a 4-turn clock, there's no way that we're going to kill him, and I'd rather him not see more cards in my deck, so I think I'm just going to concede now. I mean, he's playing blue-white flyers, he's got Jace, so we know basically what our game plan's going to be here. He's got Alabaster Mage too, but I'm not too worried about that. So he's playing kind of the blue-white flyers build. It makes me think that I'm definitely going to want to plummet. As bad as Lure is, it's sort of an out to Jace because you can just put it on something, make them all block a Land War Elf, and get in with all your other guys to kill the Jace. So I'm thinking about that as well. I guess, yeah. I mean, Mighty Leap is also another consideration because you can just, you know, give some random guy flying. But because he has so many flyers, actually, because he has so many flyers, Mighty Leap may just be better. Just to, you know, surprise block something. I really hate to take out creatures, but I think we may have to. Let's see here. No, I mean, we know the Plummet's going to be good, so I'm definitely bringing that in. I think it may just be better than the Crown of Empires, because we're not going to really have the mana to just afford to sit around and tap guys. Although, he didn't really have much removal, and Crown of Empires can tap down a Spirit Mantled guy, so maybe the Stave Off is just going to go. I think these other things are just trying to get a little too cute, so we'll just try this and see how it goes.